Jay-Z, you're just like Diddy. I can't stand your arrogant, condescending attitude. Nicki posted a video of you wearing a pink wig, and I retweeted it. Nothing more. You deserved it. Everyone knows about our feud. It's been going on for over 20 years. I've seen all your manipulation in the industry, from power struggles to cultural control. In 2015, when Tidal launched, Nicki helped you build it from nobody to a successful platform, and you immediately pocketed her $7.9 million in royalties. Lil Wayne was qualified for the Super Bowl, but you kicked him out of personal grudges. How is that any different from Diddy forcing his artists to sign unfair contracts? Just because Nicki didn't align with him, he resorts to this kind of suppression. You're truly despicable. What's even more interesting is that right after I showed him and his father's photo in the documentary Sean Combs: A Reckoning, you immediately had your lawyer send me a warning letter saying I overstepped my bounds. When you wrote the lyrics to exonerate Diddy back then, why didn't you think about today? You say the film is malicious slander, but why don't you dare sue me for defamation? Because all the evidence I have is true. I haven't finished reporting the witnesses in my documentary, and I haven't released all the Tidal profit sharing documents. If you know what's good for you, pay back what you owe Nicki with interest. Don't wait until I make Jay-Z Reckoning 2, by which time even Beyonce's PR team won't be able to save you.
Jay goes, let's get it straight. Nobody's afraid of 50 Cent.
I want everyone to be clear. No one's scared of 50 Cent.
At that point, his safe presentation, even the glasses, what the glasses represent? Intelligence, right? A nerd, maybe. What are some of the things that come along with you being a nerd? Like, don't hit a guy with fly. He's not identifying with the transition and difference and the perception of Jay-Z. Now he's really safe, and people feel comfortable with him because they know he's not going to do anything inappropriate or try not to. Meanwhile, when he's saying he's not afraid of 50 Cent, why would you have to make that clear when no one's ever asked me if I'm afraid?
For years, the rivalry between 50 Cent and Jay-Z seemed to carry a deeper tension than what was ever openly discussed. This documentary brings those long-standing narratives back into focus, offering a fresh perspective on their complicated dynamic. Both artists rose to become dominant figures in hip-hop, but their paths to power were remarkably different. One built his reputation through bold statements, public confrontations, and fearless challenges to the industry. The other moved with patience, discipline, and strategic precision, quietly expanding his influence behind the scenes. Looking back at this contrast opens up a larger conversation about who truly shapes the culture: the outspoken disruptor who demands attention, or the silent architect who controls the board from the shadows. And if the most influential moves are often made away from the spotlight, it raises an intriguing question. How many of hip-hop's defining moments were actually the result of careful planning, strategic timing, and calculated positioning rather than pure coincidence?
It's close, even though Jay lawyer came out and said it not.
Because Jay-Z and Puff was given an assignment, and that was to destroy East Coast rap. And what I mean by that, and I know people gonna like, yo, Gene is out of his mind and everything like that. Check this out, brother. Is that New York rappers was getting 80 to 100, 800 to 1.2 million, or some larger than that, and sign with labels back then. And they was getting a lot of money to make albums and records. When they had guys down south that these labels was paying $250,000, $300,000 on record deals, and these guys was bringing back platinum albums and everything like that. So what they had to do was, they had to keep New York rappers down. That's one reason, other than the Irv Gotti shit that 50 was going through and the poison they was putting in about 50, he had to go elsewhere to California, or with Jay and not with Dre and Eminem to get a deal. They did not want East Coast rappers to get big. They were suppressing all new artists that was coming out of New York. Jay and Diddy was doing that. That's why when I heard your story, because I knew this for a long time, but when I heard Dame Dash that Jay wouldn't sign off on nothing, Jay wouldn't do this and Jay would that, because he couldn't let a Cameron blow up. He couldn't let an East Coast rapper like Beanie Siegel blow up. Because him and Diddy was giving that deal we gotta keep these East Coast rappers down. Cause down south rappers, Cash Money, No Limit, Ludacris and them, they was taking little money and bringing back more money and making more money for them. So the record labels, I wouldn't say they was gonna lose off the East Coast rap.
At the peak of the physical album sales era, release timing carried enormous significance. Major projects dropping around the same time rarely appeared to be mere coincidence. According to 50 Cent's perspective, these moments often reflected calculated pressure rather than ordinary competition, suggesting that the industry tends to favor those who already possess influence, connections, and reach. When access and positioning begin to matter as much as talent itself, the music business starts to resemble something more complex than a simple merit-based arena. Success is no longer determined solely by skill or audience demand, but also by who holds power behind the scenes. This fuels an ongoing debate about where healthy competition ends and strategic interference begins, and whether some of the industry's biggest outcomes were shaped as much by influence as by artistry.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
You're gonna let him say that? Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he didn't show up.
He had like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
Hold on. You're not wrong.
He was one. After that, he got some shit. He started drinking. His pictures with him like fucking things the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got it for the music. Jay got it for the music.
No, you didn't see.
Nah, he deserved those.
I'm sitting there, it's like this, like Black excellence. They're sitting there like, yeah. It's the billionaire brunch.
Oh,
Like,
I hate you, man.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you niggas this year.
Yeah,
Come on, bro.
I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. He just looking at his watch during the whole Rock Nation, bro. Like, is it 3:30?
Yeah, it's almost time to get out.
What the fuck is that?
Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Oh wow, so that's the deal he signed, huh?
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
While U.S. chart performance often became the standard measure of success, the global picture frequently told a different story. 50 Cent points to that contrast to challenge the way achievements are evaluated, suggesting that industry support, marketing power, and promotional reach can influence public perception just as much as the music itself. From this perspective, cultural dominance is not always the result of organic popularity alone. In many cases, it can be strengthened and expanded through strategic positioning, powerful networks, and carefully coordinated promotion. When visibility can be amplified by resources and influence, success becomes about more than talent or audience connection. It raises a broader question: what truly defines victory in the music industry, and who has the authority to decide which accomplishments matter most?
Beyonce to divorce Jay-Z as soon as possible because I'm ready to shoot a documentary about Jay-Z, and I guarantee it will outgross Diddy's documentary. If Beyonce sends me a legal letter on behalf of Jay-Z, I remind her to stay quiet. This is a dispute between men, and she has no right to interfere. I have to let everyone see the true face of Jay-Z. Jay-Z and Diddy have been longtime friends, and their business dealings never stopped. He frequently attends Diddy's parties, so why do people think he's innocent? Jay-Z and Diddy got involved in the same case in 2024, where a victim claimed she was assaulted by both Jay-Z and Diddy. I remember Jay-Z saying these were all rumors and that he was defending Diddy. But ironically, Diddy got arrested in 2025. And there's enough evidence to count his crimes on one hand. I've known him for 20 years, and I know how many bad things they've done behind the scenes. After Jay-Z founded his company, he repeatedly got into copyright disputes. In 1999, he was convicted of third-degree assault and served time in prison. He was unfaithful to Beyonce, and he was caught by Beyonce's sister. I think everyone has seen the footage of him getting beaten up in the elevator. I've already gathered the evidence, and I'm going to give Jay-Z a surprise.
The controversy surrounding the Super Bowl performance brought renewed attention to how influence, relationships, and industry politics can shape major opportunities. At the center of the discussion was Eminem's insistence on inclusion, a move that stood in stark contrast to the resistance reportedly taking place behind the scenes. The situation reignited long-standing questions about who truly controls access to the industry's biggest stages. In entertainment, power is rarely determined by talent alone. Recognition often depends on a combination of approval, connections, timing, and influence. When an established artist must use their own leverage to ensure another artist receives a place on one of the world's most visible platforms, it highlights the complex dynamics operating beneath the surface. More importantly, it sparks a larger conversation about gatekeeping in the industry. Who decides which voices are amplified, which artists are celebrated, and which talents remain overlooked? The answers may reveal that success is often shaped by far more than artistic ability alone.
Dame, are you all right? Do you need anything? None of the people that have vocalized that another man, and to me, again, that whole conversation has been feminine. But if you're gonna say some shit like that, you should have actually done something to help the problem. But I never got the call from Ray saying, do you need anything? And anyone else that I've ever given, paid a bill, paid their rent, paid their college, any dollar, not one person, and I don't want them to, because they know I'm all right. But not one person has called and said, yo, could I send you something to help? But I don't need the help. But if you're gonna talk about it, be about it. But to me, that's just a jab when you tell and promote a false narrative and say that I'm in such a bad place that another dude should help me. And that my tail's in between my legs to the extent, because of a lawsuit, that I would actually take that money. I'm a man. I don't want nobody to give me nothing but the opportunity to do what I gotta do. And I don't see no opportunity. I don't want to perform for the Super Bowl. I'm not all right with the NFL. I'm still mad it ain't no black owners. We went from kneeling to being happy when we could perform for them. That wasn't what I was about. I was about ownership of our own league and taking pride in that. I'm not a court jester for everybody else to get good ratings. I know what we're being used for, and I'm not cool with that. So it's a big deal is to jump on a stage for a bunch of white owners? No, that's embarrassing to me. It's a spectacle. They're laughing at us. Like being patted on the back by another culture is not how I judge my success. Only person that has the audacity to pat me on my back is my family. And they better, you know, I'd be like, you better chill out. I don't want no pats on the back. I don't play that. I'm not in the patty pat club. On no level.
I feel you. But speaking of the NFL, I know right now Nicki Minaj, she calling out Jay. And I know Colin Kaepernick's wife, she called out Jay saying that, you know, Jay did her husband wrong. But I don't know. You know, I don't know the backstory behind that, man. But I know it's going, you know, viral right now on social media. But I do want to ask you, how do you feel about the NFL right now, in general?
You know, it's funny. She's cool with my wife, Rocky.
People who have worked closely with 50 Cent often describe him as highly involved, approachable, and personally invested in the people around him. His reputation is built on direct interaction, accessibility, and a hands-on leadership style that keeps him closely connected to his team and peers. By contrast, Jay-Z is frequently portrayed as more reserved, strategic, and difficult to access. His influence is often associated with careful decision-making, long-term vision, and a preference for operating behind the scenes rather than in the spotlight. This contrast has fueled ongoing debates about leadership within hip-hop culture. One model is built on visibility, personal connection, and direct engagement. The other relies on distance, influence, and quiet control from positions of power. Both approaches have produced extraordinary success, but they represent two very different philosophies on how influence is built, maintained, and exercised at the highest levels of the industry.
Doing it too. This is people that are looking on the separation between their hardships or their the things that they got going on that would be issues, and what a celebrity's issues will be.
Wait, what is that?
They think all celebrities are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right, and when you see, if I wasn't saying anything, guess what? You could safely say that a person on the outskirts that is not involved in hip-hop culture could think that everybody in hip-hop culture is with that shit.
So by you, you're good, bro. You're fucking good.
Yeah.
He's protecting hip-hop.
Yeah.
If you don't speak out and make them the weirdos, then they're gonna think everybody's
Every
like
single
that.
person is like that involved in hip-hop culture.
Makes you think, did Jay do it?
Shut up. He's in trouble.
We live in New York, bro.
No.
We live here.
No, free Jay-Z.
I'm just saying.
Shout out Mufasa. We all gonna go and support. Yo, we can all see. You are crazy. That was the craziest thing. I literally.
What's
bro,
the lady at Rock Nation? I gotta send her that.
You don't feel like that happened the same day, bro. What's the day came out the day before, the next day?
I was eating Raisin Bran. Okay, I'm eating Raisin Bran. I got my daughter in my arm. I'm scrolling, right? I see somebody screenshot your shit is Jay and the whole family at the Mufasa fair, and then the comment is 50 Cent. Jay said, they said I the 13-year-old. Let's go watch Mufasa.
Everybody get dressed. We're going to see Mufasa right now. I just think it was a good look, like angling yourself as
a family man.
Yes.
But they had to go to the premiere,
that
bro.
was planned already.
They had to go to the premiere.
And I realized that later, but I'm just saying to you, I haven't seen him in a long time. That's all I'm saying. When I hadn't seen him in a long time, and then I heard this shit, and then I looked and I saw Mufasa, I said, whoa. That's all that fucking happened, bro. You think this is at my phone? This is my phone. This is happening at real time. I'm going, yo. He said, yo.
You just gotta say everyone gets these jokes, bro. That's what you gotta say.
Yeah, no.
Rappers, listen, comedians are the new rappers, bro. That's
why
the
do
thing.
people come to my page, bro?
That's true.
I know what I'm saying.
You know what they say?
That is true.
Well, you don't think you're gonna happen next? Yeah, that's what they say to me, buddy. Well, you're next, buddy. You're fucking, you're laughing at this.
These contrasting reputations reflect two very different models of leadership within hip-hop culture. One is rooted in visibility, personal relationships, and direct loyalty, creating influence through constant connection with people. The other relies on strategy, influence, and a carefully maintained sense of distance, building power through calculated decisions and long-term positioning. In a culture where authenticity, respect, and credibility are highly valued, this difference continues to spark debate. Does lasting respect come from being accessible and personally invested in those around you, or from maintaining an aura of influence that extends beyond public view? The question remains central to how success and leadership are judged, and it highlights the different ways powerful figures earn loyalty, shape perception, and leave a lasting impact on the culture.
Why?
Because you don't got nothing.
I don't have it. There's no girls gonna come out.
Why you sound skeptical?
Because I think there are some women that are like. No, I think there's some women that are like.
This guy's supposed to be from Queens, bro.
Let me
cook fucked up experience.
You take him off the corner one time.
No, what I'm saying is I know a couple of exes that fucking throw me under the bus.
You should let him have the corner. None of this would have happened if you let him have the corner. Would have been fine.
You know, there's some like opportunists they'll just throw out the fucking.
But that's what I'm saying. You had to have something. Look, if you already interacted with the person, right, and you hadn't had a bad experience, it would take more for them to say some of the shit that you see these people say. Right? Like, you go, what made you do? What made you? Even when we part ways, and because a lot of times when we interact with people, they're not just having fun for tonight. They think we're leading into this hardcore relationship that may not materialize. Right? So I see what you're saying, where they can look and go, well, look, you met the girl in 2003. You hung out with her. You had a good time after the show with 30 girls there. You just went and y'all hung out, right? And y'all just part ways, right? So there's no negative things between it, but she can look up at the TV now, and you've been a success since then. Feel like that's my life. I was supposed to be there, and be upset with you and say something. But will it have any merit to it?
If I gotta keep
that
it real,
woman hasn't been in
you ain't always have the most amicable breakups. Do you remember where, I think it's your baby moms, where it's like she was kind of speaking out, and then all of a sudden the house just got burnt down?
Yeah, but you know it happens. Left eye.
See,
she burned the house down.
This nigga is crazy. That's what I was saying.
No, my God, he goes, wow. So I know how you feel about me now. No. He's going. He's great. So he saw me right the match.
I want my block back.
He goes, look, I have faith in our just justice.
I'm a civilian.
I believe
now.
there will be consequences connected to the behaviors and actions that this brother is talking about.
Oh my goodness, man.
Why is that a part of his thought process today while we're here having a good time?
That's a good ass point.
Look, you do have people that really, look, when you break up with them, they don't care about you anymore.
Yeah.
So they'll say things and you go, yeah, but it doesn't hold merit. It doesn't have any real.
Yeah, of course. After all these years, and you don't see nothing. Yeah,
like the girl that's just upset with you. She's just angry with you. She got and you go.
Supporters often view this transformation as a natural progression of success and influence. However, it also highlights how legacy can be shaped with the same level of care and strategy that goes into creating the music itself. As personal relationships, public perception, and brand building become increasingly intertwined, the distinction between authenticity and calculated image-making grows more difficult to define. When reputation, influence, and storytelling work together in harmony, they can create a powerful public narrative. Yet this also raises a deeper question. Are audiences witnessing a genuine reflection of reality or a carefully constructed version designed to shape how events and individuals are perceived? In an era where image can be as influential as talent, the answer is often far more complex than it appears.
I thought the smartest thing Jay said in the statement was, if you really believe this happened, then press criminal charges. He said pull up.
But I don't think that was.
Tell me.
Okay, look. Because of the statute of limitation, there is.
There is no criminal. So it's a.
So making a statement is to make people feel like.
But apparently, if she's under 18, didn't you say it still could be criminal? Yeah. He knows he's fed.
He used to be a cop. So you turned him into a cop. He used to sell drugs and then he became a police officer. Did you know that?
You say,
how to rob.
He glorified security.
But you know what he would do? When they would arrest G-Unit guys, he would be like, yes. And he was in the court guilty.
Every time.
I was actually the cool one. I'll give you the extra fucking cheese sandwiches and shit like that. I'll be looking out.
Take care of the family.
Hey, you know, I don't know, man. I think, what's the name? I get confused too. When you look at this shit, it's a lot. It's a lot of confusing information, right? But I think when you do point out that, why didn't you file criminal case? Because you can't. It's over 20 years old. This was 2000, bro.
No, but I think if it's a minor,
when they're saying this is happening, I'm not even 50 Cent yet.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You see what I'm saying? Like this is that dates that far back.
Yeah.
So it's like it didn't even take place at that point. So I'm like.
As past controversies resurface and renewed legal scrutiny draws public attention, the discussion begins to move beyond influence, success, and cultural dominance toward questions of accountability and responsibility. Rather than attempting to determine guilt or innocence, the documentary examines the systems and structures that can sometimes place powerful figures beyond meaningful scrutiny. Fame has the unique ability to amplify both accomplishments and criticism. When serious allegations emerge years after the events in question, they challenge not only the individuals involved, but also the industries and institutions surrounding them. Such moments force a broader conversation about transparency, fairness, and the willingness of powerful organizations to hold influential figures to the same standards as everyone else. Ultimately, the issue extends beyond any single person. It becomes a test of whether the systems that celebrate success are equally prepared to address difficult questions when accountability is demanded.
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough.
Real life. It ain't real life. Just say real life street stars. Know what time it is.
So why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
We need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other.
In the end, 50 Cent presents himself as a critic of what he views as a culture of silent compliance within the industry. From his perspective, many people choose not to speak out, not necessarily because they are neutral, but because they fear the consequences of challenging powerful individuals and established systems. His argument pushes beyond individual disputes and toward a broader discussion about influence and accountability. According to this view, silence is not always passive. In some cases, it can become a powerful tool that helps preserve existing power structures by preventing uncomfortable questions from being asked. This perspective challenges audiences to reconsider the role of silence in shaping public narratives. Rather than simply avoiding conflict, remaining quiet can sometimes protect influence and maintain the status quo more effectively than open support ever could.
You knew Jay personally, right?
Know him, been around him a couple of times, bro. Been around him a few times, but I didn't know him. You know him as I'm sitting down and I'm breaking bread, eating off, eating a meal around him and shit like that, laughing, talking and joking like that. I've been around Jay-Z, and one time I wanted to knock his head off, because he was being disrespectful, but he didn't know he was being disrespectful because he ain't that type of dude. You understand what I'm saying?
What happened?
We was in Cancun and he had a personal assistant from my block named Laura. And he had brought like 3 people to the club. He had brought like 6 people to the club with him, and he was only supposed to get 3 people in. I was running the door at Daddy-O's from Industry Entertainment. They just told me Jay-Z only get 3 people in. You understand? So I'm at the door. I said, yo, Jay, you good, and 3 of your other good, but the other 3 gotta pay. So then he said, Laura, handle him. And at that time, the type of dude I was, you couldn't tell no woman to handle me. You understand? When I'm talking to you as a man. So then I said, who you talking to like that? You telling her to handle me? You understand? And then me and him, you know, he didn't say nothing. He just turned to the side. And if he'd have turned back around, he'd have got his head knocked off. But Laura told me, yo, Gene, please, Gene, you're gonna make me lose my job. You know what I'm saying? And because, one, she was beautiful, two, she's from our block. You understand? I wasn't gonna do that to her. You understand? So I gathered myself, stepped away from the situation, and then the promoter said, Jay can let his people come in. You know what I'm saying? But he was being disrespectful. You know, this is the same dude that Harlem cats used to laugh at and joke at. Even we was out there that time, he came to Cancun and he had a fake Versace shirt on and they was ripping him. I mean, they was ripping him. I know he's a billionaire now, he can wear whatever he got. He got $10 million watches and shit like that. But we talking about back then. You understand? We still have those stories from back then. And it's good that a brother could uplift himself. And that's why he's the type of person that he is, because he knew how guys used to treat him. That's why you could see him trying to sun people based on somebody who gets in that type of situation. You understand? This dude had the same cream deli silk shirt that I had. Now, cream deli cream shirts were fake printed Versace shirts. They were nice. You pay $45 for them, but you can't wear that around Harlem cats. You understand what I'm saying? Not if you in the rap industry. At that time, they used to have diamond testers. You understand? They'll roll up on the cat, and if your diamond don't beat, you understand? They'll talk about you. Snatch your chain off or whatever like that. So he had the fake cream deli cream shirt on, and they was roasting him. I think I seen him in a black t-shirt from that point on in Cancun the whole time he was there. Yo, let me just tell you something. When dudes from Harlem got something on you, bro, and they joking you, they at it. They gonna stop and until somebody with some power or somebody with some money say, yo, give that dude a break. Give him a break. So Dame probably used to let him get him in a little bit, but then when Dame was like, yo, my man, let my man live. Let him live. You know, they probably back up off of him or stuff like that. But they was joking, they was talking and stuff like that. And cause you just don't do that. You don't come to no major event with nothing fake or phony on. Not at all. Unless the only way you could get away with something fake or phony on, if it was Dapper Dan. If it was a Dapper Dan special, you good.
By speaking openly, 50 Cent positions himself in opposition to an environment that often appears to reward silence more than transparency. His perspective challenges a system where protecting influence and preserving relationships can sometimes take priority over addressing uncomfortable truths. In doing so, he raises broader questions about accountability, power, and the cost of speaking out. If influence is protected by silence, then honesty can become a risk rather than a virtue. Yet in an industry built on self-expression, confidence, and powerful voices, that contradiction is difficult to ignore. Ultimately, the debate extends far beyond any one artist or controversy. It leads to a final and unsettling question. If authenticity is so highly valued, why do so many choose silence when speaking honestly may matter the most?